This is Ouchie Dumpling, resident old lady from the RSG community, and recovering SWGOHolic. You're listening to the Escape Pod. I cannot do that pause. I swear every time I hear it, I have a seizure. This show should have an audio epilepsy warning just for that pause. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. The Escape Podcast was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience, not a twitchy audience. However, anytime I hear that pause, I start to twitch. Take it away, boys.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. With both having played this game since launch, the one thing we are sure of is that you will be entertained. The Escape Pod Cast, a service of the Escape Pod Castaways. A weekly podcast about the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this weekend's edition of the Escape Pod Cast.
Conquest 9 is here. It's still having issues though.
And are we doing better or worse this run?
This week has been slow overall, so let's take a look back at the past few months.
We'll look at the ups and downs of SWGOH of the past 10 months, Neil.
And speculate on what could save some of the people looking to walk away.
Then in our incoming transmission, after a slight delay, the mastermind of Conquest will join us.
Endall Beall joins us and talks to us about his in-depth Conquest guides.
And also, since it's his first appearance on the show, we're going to ask him the usual questions so you guys could get to know him as well.
Storytime is a rerun this week.
Of course, there is another chance to catch the latest Helly and the Noob as well.
But on the bridge, we finally get to Patreon's choice.
I wonder what's in the question box after all this time.
All this and breaking news as and if it happens.
Right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Escape Podcast. I am Paul Anthony. As always, I am joined by Neil Andrew Eyre, as we love to affectionately call each other, our hetero life partners. Neil, new glasses, you were saying.
Yes. Yeah, no, they're nice. I just need to get used to them, that's all. It's just taking a little bit of time for me to get used to them. I'll get used to them eventually. I just need to
They're about as thin as mine.
Yeah.
So when I put mine on,
it was these frames or retrofit a pair of Oakleys, because I found a pair of Oakleys in a thrift shop for 50 cents.
There you go.
And it was like, should I get these done or should I just get these done? And I opted for these ones in the end.
All right. Barring any power issues from here on out, we're back on schedule. We are going to essentially dump the second break because, as you heard in the open, it's a replay of story time. You will not hear story time. We'll run with the first break, which will include the Patreon leaderboard, and then into our special incoming transmission with Endall Beall coming up in just a moment. So thank you, Lennox. Thank you, Cascade, for welcoming us back after a power outage situation that totally wiped out that first break. There's not too much really to talk about, Neil.
No, there's not that much on.
But we did get a little bit of information that we can pass along to our listeners about what Speed Grand Arena is going to be all about. So we do know that it is going to be 20-minute matches. See whatever our competitors can do in 20 minutes. And also, something that I think you're excited about, everybody's going to be getting the exact same account?
Yes. What they're effectively, what CG is effectively doing is they're going to take one maxed out account and then they're going to clone it 7 more times so that it's that one account, but everybody gets that one account. People will be able to move around mods, tweak the mods, because that's where the skill element comes. But everyone starts on a level playing field with, maxed out Relic 9 characters and the exact same mods. So they will choose their mod placement, their defense placement, and then what they're taking on offense. And that's the skill element. What you set on defense, what you take on offense, and where you place your mods. So that is how it's going to work. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it's basically applying an esport principle to Grand Arena Championships, which is what, esports, everyone has to start on a level playing field, and then, teams fight each other using, the exact same things, whether it's, 5 characters against 5 characters, or whether it's, a first player shooter. That's the way that's the way esports work. Everyone starts on a level playing field, and then it's your skill and strategy and tactics that makes you the best or the worst. We don't know how it's going to go.
Zaz is saying Crumb gets speed on all his mod rolls. No, so they're all going to be the same mods. The players have been instructed that they are allowed to move mods, but no new mods can be rolled.
No new mods can be rolled. No.
Or existing mods, if there is room for improvement, cannot be improved.
Yeah. So there's no slicing and there's no rolling. And here's the thing, because it's one account and that one account is being cloned, the GP is identical. So if anybody breaks the rules, you're instantly going to know, because their GP is going to show up as higher than someone else's.
Yeah. Plus, CG will have their logging of everything on that side. So we can tell you that it's going to be an absolutely fair contest, as long as everybody follows the rules.
Yeah.
And
no one's gonna do it. No one is silly enough to do it, because they would just be, A, they'd get booted out and replaced, and then B, everybody would be like, why did you get booted out? Oh, because you tried to cheat. You tried to gain an unfair advantage. So everybody will play by the rules. The gentleman's agreement will stand.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, it will.
And we are efforting to get this done in the next few weeks. Now, you will be able to see all of the content creators, correct? You'll be seeing the content creators doing their speed GACs, but you will not see our commentating until after the event, when the whole event is released in a recap format.
Yeah.
So we won't be live, but we will be absolutely on our Discord. We're going to be pointing you to, here's everybody playing Speed GAC now. Go to your favorite creator in this group and cheer them on. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's what we'll be doing. And so, Chris FX, I think it should be maxed out, and devs versus regular players. The hope is the hope is that this first one, this inaugural Speed GAC, goes well, and then it just becomes a repeat thing, something that gets done over and over and over and over again. So the success of this Speed GAC should breed future ones. So, not just devs versus content creators, but, content creator versus community versus dev, and content creator versus content creator, community versus and that's what the hope is moving.
There you go. Community versus community. Fine. Caw, Mighty Chlorians, Mighty Wallets, Team Instinct. Yeah. You guys all have your favorite people. All right, fine. You all get put in the Thunderdome.
Yeah. So, and that's the hope. Obviously, that is the hope moving forward. And we know that this is it's Doja's project, and it would be something that he would love to see. But we need to get over the hump of this first one. So we need to make this first one as big and as successful as possible. And it's not just on us as a commentary team or the devs and the content creators as players. It is literally going to be down to you guys out there in the community watching it. Doja needs to be able to take what happens during that during the GAC Speed tournament, and he needs to be able to take it up his chain of command and go, yeah, we had thousands of people watching us. We literally had that. So if thousands of people come to watch this, Doja will then be able to go back to his bosses and go, oh, look how popular and look how successful this was. We need to keep doing it, because the more eyes on screens, the more they're going to be thinking of, it's basically free PR, because it's not costing them anything, really. It's not going to cost them a damn thing, but, lots and lots of eyes on screens is a good thing for them.
Yeah. So we implore you, when we blow the conch shell, as Gridden likes to say, make sure that you are getting out there. Just
make sure you're watching. Yeah, watch multiple streams if you can. That we really, really do need the viewer counts up. We need the viewer counts for every single match up in either the very high hundreds or the thousands. If we could get like the same numbers watching this that go and watch Arnold, then that they would look at that and go, yes, it was a success.
And let's make this an esport. And just think of the places. All I'm going to say is this, Neil. Think of the places that this can go.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I've wanted this to be I've wanted GAC to be an esport for ages, and they've created a server that would be capable of doing that. So yeah, it's kind of big, it's kind of important, and if we can get GAC, if GAC were to become an esport that both EA and Disney and Lucasfilm could get behind, just on sheer numbers of people watching, because they know that they generate ad revenue and they would make money and stuff there, but it would breathe a lot of new life into the game as a whole. And a larger community and more eyes watching the game means, they have CG and EA would be more scrutinized. What they do with the game would be scrutinized more. But and I will add a very, very important but to this. You've also got to think about it in terms of because there are no more test accounts, seeing maxed out counts and maxed out characters. So nobody really knows what a lot of the characters at R9 would do. This kind of a tournament would let the community see what certain characters can and cannot do at R9. So not everybody loves Mace Windu like Rambam, but you might love the character. Some people might be like, oh my God, R9 Stormtrooper Han is so tanky, he just can't be beaten. Or, some random bounty hunter or some random scoundrel, or, pick a Kira, Kira from the one of the solo characters. I mean, her AoE that puts stagger on everybody. An R9 Kira might totally destroy the protection of and then put stagger on them. So knowing what.
Yeah, and we haven't seen maxed out accounts like this since the days of Game Changers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So having this is good for the community because we get to see what maxed out characters do.
And they will have them all.
Yeah, and they will have them. We haven't seen what maxed out characters do as soon as they come straight into a game for over 2 years. Excuse me. It's been more than 2 years. But what used to happen is the game changers would have test accounts. They would max out those new characters. They would make videos, and then the community could be like, "Yeah, I want to farm for that, or I want to buy that." And these days, nobody knows. I mean, yes, there is Arnold. Arnold does get those characters, and he does max them out straight away. But Arnold's only one person. You know, you want lots of people maxing out those characters, because different people use characters in different ways. You know, Skeletrix was the person I felt the most sorry for when the test accounts went down, because he's a very, very prolific theory crafter. Not just him, a bunch of other people as well.
Just like if we had a foreign version of this, Skeletrix, Bit Dynasty, I mean, all the theory crafters, a theory crafters tournament.
You'd have, well, no, not a theory crafters tournament. Just do an international, a World Cup. So 8 nationalities represented.
That would be fun too. I'm just saying that a lot of the good theory crafters, you know, we know Kin and Skeletrix.
A theory crafters tournament would be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah. All right. So, we'll touch on this really quick. Sadly, we're not going to be able to review the past 10 months. I think we all know the downside of when things started going south was the changes. What was 3 months ago? The last road ahead, where they announced changes where they're nerfing.
Yeah, nerfing. That's where, you know, up to that point, I would have given them I would have given CG a B+. And then they started announcing that it was going to be, they were going to start nerfing things, and then they made changes to Conquest, and then they made changes to Territory Wars, and it's gone from a B+ to a C-/D+ for me at the moment. The way things are going.
What can redeem it in your eyes, Neil?
Well, I mean, I'm praying to RNGesus that once this 3-month trench of Conquest is over, that they revert a lot of the changes, because that's the way. That is the way they. You know, Kremen has told me this. The way that they do Conquest is they do major changes every 3-month block. So basically, reverting
Conquest, not the nerfs.
Not the nerfs. No, the nerfs will never be. The nerfs will never be reverted. No. They just won't.
They won't.
The nerfs aren't going to be reverted. But and it's an important but the tournament will help people figure out new characters. So there's that. I don't think they're going to reverse the nerfs, but at least reverting Conquest would be a start, and hopefully they'll do something to Territory Wars a little bit later down the line. And that's just the way I think it's going to work. Although saying that, you know, workaround, we've seen workarounds get nerfed as well. Obviously, the Night Sisters with Slacker, that one got nerfed because it was beating JMK. So I'm not hopeful for nerfs moving forward. Every time someone comes up with something that's going to beat something that shouldn't be beaten easily, but does beat it easily, I fear that they're just going to nerf that. So the game as a whole, is gone from, you know, halfway through the year being a B+ to a C- for me, basically.
How are you doing in this current Conquest, by the way?
No, I'm only halfway through Sector 2.
Okay, I checked. I just got halfway through Sector 3, so I'm a little bit farther. I'm getting the hang of it, but of course, just as I get the hang of it, just as I figure out the game, they change the rules. So
yeah, that's why I'm putting no effort. I'm putting 0 effort into Conquest until the next 3-month window, and then hopefully they'll make some changes that allow me to. Not allow me to, that make me want to put the effort back in to try and get that box 6 again, because that's where I was at when I stopped caring. and I'm at prize box 3/prize box 4 at the moment. So hopefully they will make changes that make me want to put the effort in to at least try and get box 6.
Yep. You are aware that the next road ahead is going to be right around the time that we celebrate the anniversary of this game. So
well, no, because the road ahead's in the next couple of weeks, isn't it?
Right. Well, early November is the anniversary of this game.
Well, no, it's December, because November was the soft launch. December was the hard launch.
I'm sure we'll get my point is we're going to be getting an idea of what we'll get for that.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the reward. Then we get the goodies on December 15th. 3-star chewy shots.
Now, with the accelerated, do you think we're going to get 6 chewy shards?
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, I think we should.
I really think that we should get 6 chewy shards because it's accelerated, or as we like to say, the extra crispy.
Yeah, we should definitely. Make a beeline for that and make a demand for 6 as opposed to 3. But yeah, no, Zaz is correct. 6. Yep. 6 years, 6-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Technically, it is November the 15th, but officially it's December the 15th, because December the 15th was the hard launch. November was the soft launch.
So, all right. Let's take a break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk to a guy that we've been trying to get on the show for a while. You've gotten to talk to him on GA Center. We're going to be able to talk to him on the Escape Podcast. We'll introduce you to Endall Beall and his Endall Beall of Conquest cheat sheets coming up right after this break right here on the Escape Podcast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards, including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Podcastaways want you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Podcastaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Curdy K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Patreon leaderboard, brought to you by the Patreons of the Escape Podcast. Are you not a streamer but would like to be included in the GA Center style leaderboards that we do here on the podcast and on GA Center each week? Well, join up at the Kyber Combat level or higher and get on these leaderboards. Sign up ends next week for this next month that's coming up. It is 3v3, but we'd still like to see you. I know not a lot of people's favorites, but this is still a lot of fun, and we enjoy bringing it to you. D went, well, 0-3, because D didn't join. D, we want to cover you, my friend. Join up next week, and we'll see you on the Patreon leaderboard for next month. All right, so let's move along. Dark Helmet, 3-0. He's challenging Dr. JoJo. Let's see if he can do it. 7,981 banners, 36 wins, 1 loss, 6 holds for Dark Helmet. He says 3-0, finished 11-1. Personal best, 319th in Division 2. Nothing special to report, and he put a little congratulations to Dr. JoJo on the season. Did Dr. JoJo fall? Let's find out. No, he did not. 3-0, 76-16, 35 wins, 9 losses, 11 holds. Dr. JoJo, let's go back to him real quick. He says a very difficult week. Round 1 versus a 960,000 lifetime opponent. He couldn't clear his Executor, which accounts for the missing win, but he couldn't clear his JMK or JML on the back wall. Round 2 versus a 900k lifetime who just beat a guy with 980 in the bracket. This time he got the full clear, and they got stuck on the Jedi Master Luke. Round 3, a guy with 920k lifetime. Again, he full clears, and he fails to the JML and JMK on the back wall. So therefore, 3-0 does wrap up the 12-0 season. 4 strung, 1-2, 35-01, 8 wins, 1 loss, 2 holds. Hot Sauce, who I'm challenging. We'll see how we do here. 1-2, 7,112 banners, 34 wins, 29 losses, 13 holds, 29 losses. I've been there, Hot Sauce. I get it. I go 1-2, 7,003 banners, 31 wins, 4 losses, 8 holds. And the final board for this month looks like this. Dr. JoJo does claim the victory in the championship for this Patreon leaderboard, 12-0 with 3603. Dark Helmet, 11-1. If Dr. JoJo would have faltered at all with the 39-17, he would have claimed the victory. Great battle, guys. Hot Sauce and I, both 7-5, but I'm 600 banners behind him. We'll see how we do next time. 4 Strong goes 5-7, and D goes 2-10. That does it for the Patreon leaderboard for this month. Sign up now for next month's Patreon leaderboard at the Kyber Combatant level or higher at EscapePod or patreon.com/theescapepod, no cast. And we hope to see you next time. Be nice to each other, damn it.
We want you. Join the GAC Chain Gang today. This is the commander of the 506 Procrastination Battalion and the leader of the GAC Chain Gang. I am sending out a call to action for any SWGOH content creators on Twitch who would be willing to broadcast their GAC attack rounds alongside some of our best, including Mr. Jigabachi, Dr. Zeppers, Rico 1982, and the Bounty Honeys. What is the Chain Gang, you ask? We are an amazing group of content creators who are dedicated on streaming the Grand Arena Championship attack rounds on Twitch. The idea is to provide continuous content back to back from one streamer to the next and allow viewers to enjoy more SWGOH content as well as enjoy the variety of streamers that are currently present in the group. If you are interested in joining the Chain Gang, please reach out to myself on Discord at AndyBees #7465, or you can send us a message on our Twitter page at ChainGAC. Join us today. We have your back.
The Escape Pod Cast.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This week's incoming transmission is a good one. It's a doozy. Every now and then we get theory crafters on, and this week's theory crafter is without a doubt one of the best. You probably know him more aptly from his Conquest guides, and that's one of the reasons why we've got him on to talk today. He's also one of the integral cogs of the Gambit crew. It's Endall Beall. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Look at Neil stealing my thunder. Hi, Endall.
Hi.
I
Great
can
to
do
be
intros
here,
for people I know. I know Endall. It's easy, and Endall is someone I know, so I can do it.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's great to be here. Big fan of what you're doing with GA Center, and appreciate all the effort you've put around it. I think it's really reinvigorated the community. So glad I can come on and share my knowledge and thoughts.
Excellent. That's why we're here. That's why you're here, buddy. That's why you are here.
That is all Neil, by the way. Neil came up with the idea, and I give full credit of GA Center to Neil. I just make the pictures. I make the pictures.
Can't take all the credit. It was in part down to the Epiphany toilet, because I don't have an Epiphany toilet here, but I had one at my last address. But yeah, on the Epiphany toilet, and it was like a bolt of lightning, from Orange Jesus. If you build it, they will come. So yes, and come they did. But anyway, Paul, the usual questions, because this is Endall's first time on the show.
Yes.
So we've got a bunch of standard questions to ask him.
All right. So Endall, how long have you been playing this game? And also, what's your current GP? And are you aquatic in any form or fashion?
Aquatic.
Yeah. Do you spend money? Are you a whale, kraken, minnow, dolphin?
Right. Yeah. So I've been playing since I think 4 or 5 years. I started playing a year after the game released, so I missed the first year of it. And I have my current GP is about, let's see, 7 point. I'm just checking right now.
Definitely aquatic.
7.5. Yeah. 7.5 million is my GP right now, and I'm I would say a very light spender. I spend maybe $100-200 a year. I don't spend on crystals at all. I haven't bought a crystal pack in 4 years, but I do buy the occasional pack which has good value. $10, $20. I sometimes see something I like, I purchase it, but not more than a few in a year. So my limit is about $100-200 a year.
7.5 in I will say 4.5 years, just to round it. 7.5 in 4.5 years, and not buying crystals. That, sir, deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, I don't go after all the GLs. I don't have 2 of them, Lord Vader and Sith Eternal, but I do go after good characters that I like. So you'll see me relicking up Bad Batch, for example, or the latest one, Fennec Shand. I got her up all the way up to G11. So even though I don't go after GLs, which tend to bloat your GP up, I tend to go after good characters and good factions that I really like and enjoy playing with.
And your GAC record shows that as well. You go on these mad. I mean, there are. I mean, obviously, you've got your heathens and you've got your Calvin Awesomes that just go on and on and on and on and on forever and ever and ever. But you're in a slightly different ballpark to Calvin because you're in that much, much, much higher GP bracket. But you literally go on these 30/40 runs and then you lose one. And then you'll go on another 30/40 run, and then you never lose because your losses are always close. I mean, you actually lost the last GAC round that you lost, actually. It was the first time in 2 years that you had lost a GAC to an opponent that A, full cleared you, and B, you did not full clear back.
Yeah, that was the very first time.
First time in the obviously the GAC itself has been going for a GAC, not GA. Obviously, Grand Arena was going on before then, but GAC has been going on for a little more than 2 years at the moment. So the first time in 2 years, so must have been a great competitor. But that is the mark of you knowing what you're doing with your characters, which brings me on to
just really quick, Neil. Just for the listeners who don't watch GA Center, what are you doing? You should be. But Endall Beall currently sits in this new season 11-1 with almost 30,000 banners in battles alone. Only 16 losses. There's only 3 people that have less losses than him. And he has, I believe, let me check. Yeah, he is tied for the lead in defensive holds.
Yeah, that's it. I affectionately refer to Endall as the King of D. Because he literally this brings me on to the theory crafting part. When did you really start getting into the theory crafting? Because it's your theory crafting that allows you to put down such good defenses when it comes to Grand Arena Championship. So when did you first get into theory crafting?
I think it was a couple of years ago when the Wampa was initially released. You might have noticed my channel mascot is the Wampa. And I was fascinated by the Wampa character when he initially came out. And one of the very first teams that I theory crafted, which became popular in the arena for 2 or 3 months, I think, was the Rex Wampa Talzin team. That came out around the time that EP, just before Treya came out. And it was a team of my creation. And because I really wanted to see the Wampa work in the arena with Rex lead. So that was, I think, one of the first or maybe one of the last off-meta counters that existed in the arena. And I enjoyed playing with that. And that's when I started making videos as well, because my Rex Wampa videos started gaining traction in YouTube. I started getting a lot of followers. And I decided, this is fun. Apart from playing the game, theory crafting could be something which I could do full time as well. So I started coming up with other ideas. The Sith raid came out immediately after that. I started theory crafting teams for the Sith raid. And then immediately after that, when the GLs came out, I started, coming up with a few other videos of their own. And my channel really took off when GAC started. That's when I really discovered my favorite game mode. And the last 2 years, my channel has almost exclusively been just GAC content.
But that has changed recently, especially now that we have the new in the past 2 months, the new Conquest that came out.
Yeah.
You have, thank you very much for this perfect segue. You've created a way and essentially a cheat sheet along with the guys over at Gambit. You've been pimping it on their Discord, which is linked in the show notes and by our chat moderators. You do a wonderful job with this. Is what I mean, I can understand what made you want to do it, but what made you want to do that? Of all things, thank you for doing it, but
I mean, I'm not. We don't all have a Pithman toilet. So, what made you think? What would be a great idea? A Conquest guide.
Yeah, it was purely selfish reason, because I played the last Conquest and it was painful because it was a disaster because I was wasting my crystals, wasting my teams, and just the sudden jump in difficulty level made the whole playthrough of the Conquest really painful. And I wanted to avoid that pain for myself, so I started going through Discord channels and just chatting with folks, and a lot of folks in the community had really good ideas about how to make their battles efficient, how to get around certain tough challenges. And I started noting them down in an Excel sheet. And I thought, just to myself, I'll start making a guide just so that next time the Conquest comes around, I'll be able to do it more easily by myself. Mm-hmm. But the more I created this guide, the more I started building it out, I felt that this is something that maybe the community could also benefit from. And I cleaned it up a little bit. I made it a little more snazzy to look at and all that. And then I converted it into an image and posted it on the Discord channel. And I made a couple of videos about it. And it was very well received. The very first video I made, tons of people had additional thoughts, really creative thoughts about how to make the guide even better. So after a couple of days, I took all of their ideas and I made an updated version of the guide. And that's the guide which is currently sitting out there. So it came out purely out of a need for me to avoid the pain. And as a result, now the community as a whole, I think, is finding the guide really useful and, finding a better way to go through Conquest as a result of that.
How much of this is community sourced and how much of this is from your own crazy theory crafting mind?
So I would say that at least 40% is community sourced. A lot of things like the structure of the guide itself, the whole concept of the KB ratio and the win required and all of that I came up with myself, way before people were actively thinking about this stuff. And a lot of the teams and the way that you think about the feats, I came up with a lot of those thoughts myself, like things like skipping the bounty hunter or night sister feats because they were extremely inefficient. But a lot of the specific ideas for battles came from people, like the separatist feat to complete at the end of Sector 1, or the rebel fighters in the Talzin Sector 2 zone, or things like using Maul and Savage in the mid-sector dark side battles. A lot of these things actually have come from the community. So I would say about 40-60.
That's awesome.
How long did it take to fine tune? Because obviously, the event itself goes on for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So obviously, knowing if there are any tweaks or if there are any changes, like for example, when we went from 7 to 8, they switched the support, the no supports, and the potency up. They swapped it around from Sector 1 and Sector 2.
Yeah.
So how quickly do you get in there with your tweaks and your how quickly are you able to get in there with your tweaks?
So between 7 and 8
minor changes.
Yep. So between 7 and 8, I think we had about a week, of a break. So I made I released my video at the end of 7 and I got tons of feedback. So that was a busy week for me updating the Conquest guide. And the very first day that the new Conquest came out in 8, I received a ton of feedback saying that, hey, your guide is outdated because they shift the feats around. So I went in and it takes me less than 15 minutes to make the adjustments. And I uploaded the latest version of it on the Discord server and on my YouTube channel. So it as and when I find out better ways to do things, I keep updating my guide, and maybe once a week I upload a new version of it. The initial week was extremely busy as I was getting things in shape, but now that the guide is more or less in a mature state, I just upload it once a week.
Mm-hmm. And how long does it take to do your changes and your updates between the 3-month? Because the way that CG does their changes is they do the major changes in like 3-month blocks, and that's like the bosses, because obviously on the previous ones you were only doing guides for an end of sector boss, and then in 7 they brought a mid sector boss. Whether they keep that for moving forwards, but roughly, so how much tweaking and obviously you've got your template because it's on the spreadsheet, but how much theory crafting in those initial first few days or the first week does it take for you to, because like you said, got to scour Discord and you're chatting to people in the community, and then you're playing it yourself. So when they come up with the major changes and it's a new one, how long does that roughly take for you to do your theory crafting and actually test your theories in practice in Conquest before actually putting the guide out?
Yeah. So when a new change comes out, like season 7, for example, was the first time that that the whole thing changed.
Right.
I actually took time to play through the whole Conquest end to end, and only at the end of season 7, maybe the last couple of days before the Conquest locked, that's when I put out my guide, because I felt that I had actually seen how the Conquest plays out, what the strategies are, because it's I think it would be a little too soon, a little early for me if I start making Conquest guides before I have had a chance to play through it, because experience is the best teacher. So that's it. The next time that these big changes come 3 months from now, I will probably go through one cycle of the Conquest, at least a week of it, to get a sense of how things are different, and then I'll put out my my refresher guide. That's my plan.
So yeah, so when they do make the change, everyone's going to be like, "This sucks." Endall, hurry up and finish Conquest so that we can see your guide for the next one.
Well, speaking of changes, let's put Endall. I want you to put your Capital Games hat on here. By the way, he's not part of Capital Games that we know of, but put your Capital Games on hat here and tell us how you would make Conquest great again.
That's a good question. Well, I definitely feel that removing the grindy feats, that's number one. You know, nobody wants to do those win with 14 Night Sisters or Bounty Hunters and all of that. So, and the faction kills also, I think, they should, they should do a better job with those two feats. Those two, removing those or at least changing them and tweaking them will make things a little better. I would reduce the crystal cost of refreshing. That would make things a little better as well. I would take out the cost of equipping and unequipping all of those
using energy for the day.
Yes, using energy for that is a big waste. You end up wasting crystals. I mean, that's CG just getting a little too greedy. So at least removing the cost or associated with maybe some other cost, like your regular energy or ship energy or something like that.
Can I make it mod energy?
Mod energy, yeah. Anything else other than the Conquest energy, that would make things easier as well. And as far as the
ally points.
Ally points, yeah. Nobody uses ally points these days. That could be another idea as well. If you have to associate a cost with it, do it with something like ally points. In terms of making the actual Conquest more interesting, I would love more, puzzle kind of things to that the community as a whole has to figure out. Like, for example, the mid sector and end sector bosses. Well, not the mid sector, but the end sector bosses. A lot of the feats over there have got a huge puzzle element to it. Like, you have to figure out what is the best way that you can go and kill everyone at the same time, or what's the best way you can go in and get defense up X number of times. I want more of that puzzle element rather than the grindy aspect of Conquest, because I love it when the community gets together and starts brainstorming what is the best way to do these feats, who are the best characters. If you don't have a GL, what is the best way that you can approach this? That's the kind of creativity that I want the Conquest to come out with, not the grindy crystal refreshing aspect that we currently have.
Yeah, I quite agree with you on the faction feats. Just when they first brought them out, my immediate response was either take them out because they're too grindy, or at least give agency back to the player and move the faction feats from the sectors to global feats. Because then at least that way the player gets to decide wherever to do those faction feats wherever they want in the game. So there could be a random team on a random node that they know that they can get 14 wins with Bounty Hunters, or that they can get 14 wins with Night Sisters, and it's not the grind of praying and keeping your fingers crossed that you're lucky enough to get it's like with the Mando feat. We know that you can do the Mando feat with Treya 4 Mandos in three matches if you get a Geo node. But it's a big bloody if. Now, if you opened up that feat from the sector to a global, you're guaranteed to get at least one Geo node at some point over 5 sectors. And then people would be like, oh, okay, it's not so much of a grind now. I can pick any Geo node and I can I can blast that feat out in 3. So yeah, I agree with you there. That, like you said, that the impetus you're thinking is just do something to remove the gripe, basically.
If you could, I think we all know the answer to this, but I'd be interested to see if maybe you prefer something else to be removed. Who would be the team or faction that you would remove from the opponent's list?
From the you mean
from the random opponents list, yeah, as you go along.
Well, I think I find the let's see, not Phoenix, but the Mando's Karth specifically. Sometimes he gets really irritating. I mean, I've had Karth go continuously, nonstop, and completely take out my Jedi Master Luke without me getting a chance.
Earlier today, I had Phoenix do that to me. Sabine just bang, 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 bang for a minute long.
Yeah, those are no fun to watch at all. I mean, at least give me a chance to play.
But so I'm surprised your answer wasn't Galactic Republic.
Oh, Galactic Republic also is pretty bad. I tend to avoid those feats altogether, those nodes altogether, because they reflect the damage back to you. So even if you take a GL or someone heavy, you get tons of damage reflected back at you. That's another one which is pretty bad.
Who does that?
I hate those. What I tend to do with the Galactic Republic ones is I make sure that I've got the 2 data cards that give you back health and protection. And then I just go in with CLS because, Han will do his hits and he'll go down to nothing. And then somebody else will attack out of turn and it'll just go straight back up. It just refill. But it's one of those one-time things. It only happens with those data cards and it only happens with that one faction. And if you don't have the data cards, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, Galactic Republic's definitely a pain in the ass. Without a shadow. And Phoenix, machine gun. Oh God Almighty! But it's not just her though. I mean,
Ezra went crazy
and
too.
Then Ezra does it too. And unless you've got a couple of entrenched, you're halfway through your health before you even take a go. And it's like if you don't have any of those health or protection regenerating ones, you're thinking to yourself, oh, for God's sakes, I'm only going to get 1 or 2 stars here. And getting 1 or 2 stars is sometimes as bad as losing the 20 energy, because you're thinking to yourself, I might have to go back to that node and spend another 20 energy to 3-star it, because you just might need it. So yes, but I think that what you've done, what you continue to do with the hard conquest feat guide is very, very important. I when we were talking off, I would actually put it level with importance as Warrior's old farming guide, his pillar system guide.
Amen.
Because that was. I mean, obviously, you're updating yours once every 3 months with some tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
Warrior Warrior only had to update these pillar guide, once every 12 months, and the pillar guide doesn't make any sense anymore because GLs and stuff like that. But at the time that it first came out, it was one of the most important things. And knowing how to be efficient, because that's what the guide is there for. It's explaining, the video is explaining and showing, and the guide is there in the written word, and it's all color coded and it's all annotated to help everybody out there in the community be as efficient as possible to maximize their roster. Because it's not going to, somebody couldn't look at the guide and then instantly get the red box. It's not designed to get everybody the red box. It's designed to be able to allow people to maximize the burritos that they get based off, because somebody somebody might look at sector 3 and they'll see something in there and they'll go, well, I can't actually do that. But by looking at the guide, they can say, oh yeah, but using the guide, I can do that feat and that feat and that feat, and that just makes them get a little bit closer.
Yeah, and before we run out of time, Endall, tell people how to find this guide, and I want you to pimp whatever you want to pimp. You know, Gambit Alliance, your channel. The floor is yours.
All right, thanks. So let me give you a link to my channel
Send it to me on Discord.
YouTube. Got it. So I can be found on YouTube. I don't have a Twitch presence yet, but you can find me on YouTube. I typically stream GAC videos, and I make the occasional guide once in a way, like this Conquest guide. If you're specifically interested in the Conquest guide, you can find it on Discord. I'm on the Gambit Discord server. We have a resources section over there where we have got tons of really useful resources that we maintain for the community. One of the channels in the resources section is the Endall Conquest guide. So you can go and get the latest version of the guide out there with the latest graphic.
There you go. Neil, any final questions for Endall before we send him back to Hoth?
No, thanks for coming on, buddy. It's great to have you on.
Glad to be on, and would love to do it again sometime.
Let's not make it so long again, because it has been an honor, and I've always wanted to have you on this show. I'm glad we finally made it happen. All right, coming up, we're going to skip the second break, of course. We're moving right into the third break that we normally do. So Hellion the Noob is coming up in just a moment right here on the Escape Podcast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena Tracking Bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
The following episode of Hellion the Noob has a character based on a real person. Permission was granted to use the name and virtual likeness.
And now time for something completely shameless.
When we last saw our antagonists, they ran into enemies on Corellia. They were facing down two of TC-14's greatest creations. A heated battle ensued. Serves them right. Nobody likes Hellenics. Both Hellenics and the noob performed maneuvers most of us would just laugh at. Thank God for them, the victorious Viking found them on their way to their ship and joined them in this fight. Let's pick back up with this latest episode of Hellion the Noob to see if these fugitives from the law get their comeuppance.
Newbie, special move, and make it count.
Here goes nothing.
Oh, come on! Those blasters are the most overpowered weapons available to us. They've destroyed Beskar-reinforced, quintuple-layered Durasteel with mithril mesh in the past. And now against these two rock clowns, Not even a scratch? All right, whatever. Time for my special move.
Oh, jeez. You gotta be kidding me.
What in the space hell? Even that does no damage?
They're rock creatures, Linux. Lightning attacks have no effect on them. Haven't you ever played any Pokemon games?
This is getting stupid. Shaman, my man, do something.
I guess I'll do my special move? You shall not pass!
Oh, for crying out loud, a taunt? What good will that do us?
What's the problem this time, Linux?
We need to eliminate these rock guys, not divert their attacks. Their attacks don't even cause any serious damage. This battle's gonna go past 5 minutes, and I never let it last for more than 5 minutes. Seriously, Drum Monkey?
Linux? I just finished reading these guys' kits.
You are not
going to like this.
Hurry up, newbie. The timer's counting down. Spill the beans already. Give me the short version of whatever it is you found.
Well, the short version is these are the newest Galactic Legends released by the SSP devs. Basically, without an ultimate ability, you can't damage them.
Let's stun them this time. Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. Now we're stunned. This sucks.
Well, maybe if we didn't stop for space...
Rose.
We wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place.
Meatbag.
You know what, noob? Why don't you just shut up? If you got nothing helpful to offer, why keep talking? All you ever do is complain.
Guys?
Me? Complain? Oh, that's rich. Especially coming from you, who calls himself the Salty Spartan.
No. I've earned the right to complain, noob. I've been at this for almost 6 years. You just picked up this game and have no idea how much I've sacrificed for this garbage content.
Guys.
Oh yeah? Well, fine. I'm gonna go buy a hyperdrive bundle pack and...
What good will a hyperdrive pack do? You can't equip it mid-battle. Plus, it's gonna violate your free-to-play pledge. And I am not in the mood to listen to Neil rag on us for dumping money into the SSP coffers.
Guys!
What?
I still have my summoning move, and I know exactly who to summon. Here goes. By the power of SWGOH, I summon the bravest!
Isn't he cute? Yeah, he's adorable. What's it gonna do? Yeah, tickle us to death.
Yes! He did it!
Whoa.
Okay, Mr. Viking Man, who is that character? He seems very, very cool. I want a formal introduction. I bet we could be great friends. He seems exactly like the type of character we need to join us for our mission to confront TC-14.
Noob, don't you know who this is?
Pipe down, both of you. You are in the presence of greatness. Show some class, please. Yes, kind soul, we are humbled. We thank you. Without you, we would not have ended our non-stop bickering and overcome these adversaries. Your strength and poise are an eternal lesson to us all. Your example is one we should all always strive toward achieving. We are humbled by your appearance and appreciate your brief intervention. May the Force be with you. Always.
I can barely believe it.
Okay, will somebody explain to me exactly what
just happened?
You see, young adventurer, that was the bravest entity this galaxy has ever known. That was Minnie Snowwalker, a being of legend who once walked among us in this realm, and now travels the nether realm of the Force. As the Wills once wrote in their journals, Minnie Snowwalker was a being whom, despite his small stature and young age, could face impossible odds, without fear, odds that would make even the strongest among us crumble in sheer terror. Unfortunately, a dark entity of despair, born of the fourth sign, confronted Minnie, and an epic battle ensued. Sadly for us, the little one departed our realm, after losing his fight against that vile foe. However, although defeated in that battle, he did not truly lose. For the legend says, if we merely remember him, he will never truly be lost, and he will always walk among us. For his ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. His name is Minnie Snowwalker, and it shall never be forgotten. For he was the bravest among us, and his example will forever be one we should each be inspired by. While gone from this realm, Minnie Snowwalker is eternal.
Whoa. I'm honored.
As you should be, young one. Now, let's all head towards your ship and make our way to Coruscant.
This episode dedicated to Minnie Snowwalker, 2006 to 2021. May the Force be with you.
That was quite touching. Minnie Snowwalker was indeed a hero. I almost don't want to make fun of the lethargic Laconian at this point. Almost. Oh, who am I kidding? Will the noob violate his sacred free-to-play pledge? And will his doing so cause a neverage? Will Cartoon Hellenic's pit stop at a coffee shop for Freddo Espresso while en route to Coruscant? We all know the Greek is addicted to caffeine. Will the victorious Viking crack both these guys' skulls with his mud hammer? I'm hoping. Yes. I'm even willing to pay good money to see this. Would you like to see the same? If you answered yes to this question, then all you have to do is make sure to stay tuned to the Escape Pod cast every Friday, so you never miss a single episode of Helly and the Noob.
The Escape Pod cast The Bridge.
And welcome back to the show, everybody. Slightly shorter than our usual broadcast, but technical difficulties at the beginning of the show. So yeah, we're into the final segment of the show where we will at last finally get to do some
Patreon's choice,
some Patreon's choice questions, because last week we had Doja and Crumb on, and they just, we didn't want to let them go.
First it was an amazing interview from Caden from You All and Planet Coruscant.
Yeah.
And then Doja and Crumb went
Doja
long.
And Crumb. So it's not that we plan to go long. It's just that, the conversation just, naturally evolves, and, it organically flows just that little bit longer than sometimes you anticipate it. And the last 2 weeks, that's exactly what it's been like. So, yeah. So sue us.
No, don't sue us.
Don't sue us.
Don't sue us. All right. Prompt for the week. If you had to take a story, doesn't matter if it's from a book, comic book, TV, movie, whatever, and tell it with a cast from another story, what story are you telling? Which cast are you using? Heir to the Empire with Borg as the antagonist, and the Borg Queen as Thrawn.
I would take the cast of Red Dwarf, and use that crew as the crew for Picard, because it would have been a lot more. It would have been a lot more entertaining.
Oh man, shooting back at my Star Trek reference there. All right. Mm-hmm. Name the actors or actress. That was from Geek Girl. This is from Zaz. Name the actors or actresses you would cast as these live action Star Wars characters. Anakin Skywalker instead of Hayden Christensen.
Colin Farrell.
Vin Diesel. He's already bald.
I've never seen Van Diesel as a bad guy, so I'm just trying. The reason why I choose
I'm
Farrell
thinking
is
Darth Vader. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I've seen Colin Farrell as both good guy and bad guy, and that's what. So I know he can do both, baby face and heel. I haven't seen Van Diesel as a bad guy in a film, so it would be difficult for me to kind of visualize him as going from light to the dark side. But let's move on.
All right. The Phoenix Squadron. Zaz asking the entire Phoenix Squadron.
I would go. Okay, so here is an easy one. It would have to be Zoe Saldana because she still looks hot as balls
When she's green.
When she's green, and we know she's a good actress and she kicks ass. So
I could get on board with that. Okay, so who do we got for Ezra? We already do in a way. The guy from Aladdin, from the live action Aladdin.
Yeah, from the live action Aladdin. Yeah, I think he would be. Yeah, no, he would be fine. Yeah, I think he would be a fine actor in the role. Let's see, Kanan. I don't see why. No, I'd be quite happy with the voice actor for Kanan playing him live. So I wouldn't have any issues with. I mean, all right. He's a bit.
Freddie Prinze Jr. Really?
Freddie Prinze Jr. is a bit. He's a bit of a what I would refer to. He's more of a bubblegum popcorn. He plays those roles in those good popcorn feel good. You wouldn't think of him as a serious actor, but then you don't need a serious actor for Star Wars, because ultimately you're not looking for an Emmy or an Academy Award winning performance. You're just looking for a good performance in a Star Wars movie. You're not looking for Oscar nominated acting, and that's so I would be quite content with Freddie Prinze Jr. for Kanan, but for Zeb.
Okay, so for Kanan, for me, I'm gonna have to go with Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, really?
Get him a little. Get him de-age him digitally. De-age him digitally. But Kiefer Sutherland, I think, could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Zeb. Obviously, it needs to be huge. It needs to be kind of big. But I'm just trying to think. I can't think of anybody for Zeb. The thing is that the actor themselves would be unrecognizable because they'd have that many. They'd require a full alien prosthetics. So
right.
You wouldn't actually know.
Fine. Then we do know who it should be.
So it should just be the actor, the voice actor for
him, or Andy Serkis doing another voice.
That's what. This is one of the reasons why I was a little bit bemused regarding, when they picked the actress to play Ahsoka in the Mando. When we're talking about an alien, and the prosthetics and the makeup is on to a certain degree that you don't really recognize the actor or the actress that's underneath the prosthetics. I don't see why you don't just go for the. I don't see why you don't just go for the voice actor.
Yeah, but Ahsoka is human enough that they needed to get somebody that kind of looked like her.
Tom Sizemore for Zeb.
All right, and who would? I think Bill Hader should return as the voice of different robots for Chopper.
Okay.
All right. Hondo Onaka.
That's an interesting one. Danny DeVito.
Screw you.
I think Danny DeVito could pull it off.
I don't know. I really don't know who I'd want to see play a live action Hondo. It's to me, maybe it's almost too sacred. I want to see a live action Hondo. We have an animatronic Hondo, But who would be a live action Hondo?
Don't worry, you'll see a live action Hondo in the Book of Boba.
I really hope so. I really do.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Every pirate, scoundrel, and bounty hunter.
Fine. He doesn't want to play Thrawn.
Is going to be in that.
He doesn't want to play Thrawn. Then fine. Benedict Cumberbatch, be my Hondo.
Okay, he's too tall. He's too tall. They'd have to do that aspect filming like they did with the Lord of the Rings.
All right. Speaking of Thrawn.
Hello, Jason Isaacs.
I was going to say Jason Isaacs as well, and it very well may be coming true from what we saw in the news recently.
Yes.
Asajj Ventress.
Okay. You want to know? I mean, if we could go back to the early '80s, I would cast Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
If let's pick act. I mean, obviously we need something now, but if they were to do it back, I think Sigourney Weaver would have done it quite well. But let's see who could. You know what? Who's the chick that plays Chrome Dome, Gamora's sister in the MCU?
Oh.
The British actress. I keep forgetting I keep forgetting her name. But
what is the character's name? I can't remember. Gamora's sister. I it's been a Nebula. Okay.
Nebula, that's it. I can't think of the actress's name, but we know that she can. We know that she can.
Karen Gillian.
That's it, Karen Gillian. Yeah.
I actually say Awkwafina should play Asajj Ventress.
Okay.
She's got that grin. That grin.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of an actress that we know can do evil, can pull off an evil character. I mean, what's it? Zaz has put Helena Bonham Carter. She would do it as well. I mean, her portrayal of the character in Harry, that really, really good. I just don't think that she would, she wouldn't look good bald.
All right, and finally, Omega.
Let's see, Macaulay Culkin.
Your answer is as bad as what I was going to say before we move on. I think Danny DeVito would do a good job in that spot. If you could write a script and have it turned into a Disney series, what would you create and what sort of characters would you have? I think that one takes a lot more thought than I can put into it right now.
Sorry, say the question again.
If you could write a script and have it turned into a Disney series, what would you create and what sort of characters would you have?
Let's see. I would vomit all over a bunch of papers and then I would give it to them and then they would make it.
I think that one, I'd have to put way more thought into that one than I can do on the fly here. We did do the one that's there about the bad song from a band you like. We did do that one. Forrest Strong asked if we're excited about the new.
I do have a serious one. Though. I do have a serious. I would do a tag and Bink story.
There you go.
I would do a tag and Bink story.
Or the Star Wars What If. What was that called again?
Oh, Star Wars Infinites.
Infinites. There you go.
Yeah, I would do a tag and Bink one, and I would say, look, you're missing out on here. The only Star Trek that is being purchased globally at the moment is the Lower Decks. I mean, I haven't watched it, but it's the only one that's selling worldwide at the moment because no one's buying Picard globally, but foreign countries are buying the Lower Decks, and it's a Star Trek animated comedy.
Yep. And there's a new one. There's a new one with the new with the young.
Yes, I saw that. I saw the trailer for that. I saw the trailer for that. That looks. It's a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of kids, and they're given a starship. So that one is just going to be. Yeah. I think that they've looked at that and thought, can we do something that looks better than animated, but still keeps the comedic element? So yeah, I saw that. I saw the trailer for Lower Decks and thought, yeah, that's not for me. But I saw the trailer for this other one that's come out, and I'm looking at that and thinking, a bunch of alien teenagers with a starship. Oh my god, it's going to be like, one of those 80s coming of age movies where there's a bunch of teenagers and they all go off and do something mischievous, and no grown-ups watching them or anything like that.
Well, that's kind of Lower Decks already. Anyway, we have a few more here before we have to close out here. Are you excited about the new Dune movie coming out next week? I've never been into Dune.
Yes.
But
yes,
I am willing to watch it.
Yeah.
So I can see if it'll pique my interest. So am I excited? No, but I'm interested.
I'm excited because all of the Dune stuff that's ever been done before has never been good enough to go beyond the first book. And Frank Herbert did a series of books in that universe. So I am hopeful for it. I'm excited for it. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's a global success so that HBO and Warner Brothers go, okay, here's book 2, crack on.
What if it's a success, but the movie doesn't stay as true enough as you want it to?
No, I've been listening to the no spoiler reviews. I've been watching the no spoiler reviews, and from what I'm hearing, they have stayed true to the book.
Okay.
Despite there have been some protestations by the actors and the actresses saying, "Oh well, we would have liked to have seen it gone this way, or we would have liked to have seen it gone that way." But the people making the film have been like, "Well, that's not in the book. We're going with the book." So primary focus on House Harkonnen, House Atreides, the Fremen, and the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. Because obviously,
you just said gibberish to me until I see it. I guess
basically they're like the Bene Gesserit. The Bene Gesserits are like they're like the church. It's all women, and they put like it's like having a priest in every, and they're kind of like in the background, kind of like molding and moving things around.
Well, in order to get to all the questions, though, we do. You can tell me in the after show, which we will have.
I'm more interested in Ghostbusters Afterlife than anything else.
And I've heard good reviews on that. What's a book that should never be adapted? Speaking of books that being adapted to movies.
A book that should never be adapted. Oh God. There's not a lot of books I've read that have not been adapted.
Yeah, because it's getting to be a world out there.
Yeah. The
cat who could read backwards. That's the book that should never be adapted.
The latest play, the Harry Potter play that.
Oh, and the Cursed Child.
Yeah, I read that and I'm like, what the hell is this?
What's one that should that hasn't?
A book that should that hasn't. Oh,
I think you and I can both agree. Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, every single extended Star Wars universe.
But if you could only pick one of the books, Heir to the Empire.
No, actually, I would.
Or Vector Prime.
I would go Vector Prime.
Okay, I knew you would probably go Vector Prime.
I would go Vector Prime. I would want to see. I cried like a baby when I read the book. I would want to see just how. I would record myself reacting to the live action version of that chapter. Yeah, I would cry like a baby.
Do you prefer Squid Game or the original Battle Royale? Neither. I'm not a fan of this.
Not watched Squid Game, but Battle Royale. Yeah, loved Battle Royale.
enjoyed it thoroughly. Watched it multiple times.
All right. Question number 2. If they made a sequel to Groundhog Day, what should be the plot?
I don't know. I mean, it'd have to be Bill Murray, obviously, but something that it would have to be. Oh God, maybe the complete opposite of the plot for Groundhog Day. He just has to be, a decent guy. So he's obviously he's a bit of a scumbag. He's a bit of a snake. He's very, very slimy, and he continues to be like that through every iteration of Groundhog Day until that final day where he's just a regular nice guy, not over the top, big SK, but he's just a nice guy. So maybe he. Or no, actually no. He's older now, so maybe he returns to being that grumpy person, and
he has to be forced to relive it again.
He has to be. He has to. So it's 30 years on. He's back in Punxsutawney because his wife's left him. His kids are off doing other various. Everything bad. People behaved bad around him, and over the years and years and years, it rubbed off him until it's like, Phil, we're sending you back to Punxsutawney. You've got to go do it. And he gets sent back, and he just has, a horrible day and behaves in the way that he did 30 years ago. And then that's it. It repeats, and he has to,
I could get on board with that. All right. Number 2, if they made a sequel to Groundhog Day, what should be the plot?
You just asked that question.
Okay. Number 2, if they made a sequel to Groundhog Day.
I see where you're going. But I'm only going to say you've repeated yourself once.
All right. Number 3, what was the first Star Wars movie that you ever saw?
Episode 4. Star Wars: A New Hope. I was 7, so 1985.
For me, it was episode 1. My second one was Empire Strikes Back. And then I went back and I watched 4, 5, 6, watched 1 again, and watched them in release as they were released.
I was 7 years old. I was at my grandmother's for Christmas, and it came on the TV, and I was like, wow, what the hell is this? But you got to bear in mind that back then there were only 4 channels. We had BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and Channel 4. That was it. We only had 4 TV channels when I was a kid. So so Christmas movies on the TV were very important. So yeah, Star Wars came on, and I was like, wow,
all right,
this is incredible.
Zaz redeeming a question. What was the first movie you saw at the cinema?
Back to the Future for my 7th birthday. It was my 7th birthday, March 1985. Back to the Future.
I believe the first one that I ever saw was the one where Big Bird got lost in Tokyo. I don't even remember what that was. But the first movie that I ever went to see myself in a cinema was Cool Runnings.
Yeah, no, it was my surprise birthday present on my 7th birthday back in March 13th, 1985. It was only one screen in the cinema because I was an army brat. But yeah, 7 years old, sit down, Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future. Brilliant. Still remember it to this day.
All right. So, Neil, what you got coming up on the Escape Podcast channel this week?
Oh, very little, thankfully. We're on a GAC break, so yes. No, I don't have. I mean, I don't have anything to worry about. Obviously, GAC will start back up again next week, so I have a nice breather this weekend, which is great. I'm going to continue to enjoy the break, and then we'll be.
Any chance of seeing Runes of Magic this week?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, if I might play some over the weekend, if you see me live, then it might be that, but I don't know.
Okay.
I probably am going to play some Runes of Magic over the weekend. I'm really hoping for some good weather so I can go for a ride.
because it's just rained incessantly for the past week, and I haven't been able to get out on the bike at all. And I'm trying to get some good footage with the GoPro on the bike, so that I can use it as a background for the green screen. So that, I can do the Tom Cruise. I want to put the video in reverse and do a Tom Cruise run while doing GAC, a speed GAC. So yeah, but no, I might do some rooms at Magic over the weekend. We'll see.
All right, for me, we'll see what we can get on Saturday, but Sunday definitely. This will be maybe even the conclusion of Game 9, Lego Batman 2 on Vault 37 Studios. We have 100%ed the story mode. We're now going back to get all of the mini kits and 100% the game. So it should be fun. We've got almost every single character already unlocked. It is just down to playing in the overworld. So that'll be fun. And then we move on to one of your favorite stories, Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be doing Lego Lord of the Rings. Maybe we'll even have Neil pop on and guest commentate as he watches Christy and I beat up things as Lego figs. All right. Neil, any final words before we get out of here?
No, let's go, babe.
All right. Thank you for watching, guys. Tune in next week when we're working on not a guarantee, but what we really want to do. We may have a Speed GAC Center special episode next week. It'll be really, really neat if we could do that. But until then, we'll see you in the after show. Be nice to each other, damn it. Neil?
Push the button.
Will do. Ta-ta for now, folks.
Toodles.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuit. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.